Today, I go over how to do a quick pre-purchase inspection on a used AR-15. Today, we're just going to go over my process for how I inspect AR-15s when I'm either buying a used one or trading one. There's a couple things that I look for that will help determine the overall condition of the firearm, how many rounds may have been fired through it, because you can't always trust what people tell you. These processes really do come into play when you're doing person-to-person transfers. A lot of gun shops do pre-purchase inspections and you really don't have to worry about it as much, even though they should not have a problem with you completely taking the gun apart and inspecting it for yourself. But person-to-person transfers, a lot of times you may be just trying to get things moving as fast as you can go. So this process here doesn't take a whole lot of time. That way you can get things moving along as fast as you can. So what do I look for? The very first thing a lot of people will tell you is that it's got a super low round count. Two indicators for me that a gun has had a lot of rounds fired through it. One being the condition of the brass deflector. So the brass deflector will pick up a lot of brass. It'll get dings and dents in it. Over time, the finish will start to wear away on it depending on how much you shoot the gun. So if it's seen a boatload of rounds, it's going to be worn out, or there's going to be a bunch of brass caked on it. And that's one indicator that the gun has seen a lot of rounds. The very next thing that I look at is the condition of the charging handle. If the charging handle has a bunch of finish missing off of one side, that means that charging handle's been manipulated a whole bunch. So if the person tells you, hey, it's only had 2 magazines ran through it, that's probably not the case if all the finish is worn off the charging handle. So after I've looked at the brass deflector, the charging handle, I'm going to pull the bolt out. I want to look and see what kind of condition that bolt's in. Are the lugs peened up real bad? I'm going to pull the actual bolt out of the bolt carrier. I'm going to look at the gas rings and see if they're cracked, missing, anything like that. Okay. That's a good indicator that it's seen a lot of rounds. Now, while that bolt carrier group is out, I want to see what kind of shape that rifling is in. Now, if a barrel is worn out, you're definitely going to be able to tell. A lot of the rifling will either be not there or it'll be worn down, and you'll be able to see that. I'll go ahead and throw in a picture of what some worn out rifling looks like. That's what you're going to be looking for. You want to be able to see all the lands in the rifling and see it clear as day going all the way down to the end of the barrels. All right, so moving on to the lower receiver, what I'm going to look for here is to make sure that the magazine release works. I'm going to make sure the safety selector works like it's supposed to. I'm going to make sure the trigger works exactly how it's supposed to. So I'm going to manipulate the trigger. I'm going to manipulate the safety, make sure that when the safety is on, the trigger does not work for obvious reasons. So once the lower is good, magazine release works, trigger works, safety works, I'm going to put everything back together and I'm going to manipulate the charging handle a few times and just make sure everything runs smooth like it's supposed to. I don't feel any binding or anything crazy like that. Like I said, this is a quick inspection. You can go way down the rabbit hole if that's what you want to do. A lot of times things are moving pretty fast. So this is just to kind of help confirm what they're telling you about the firearm in whatever ad that you saw it in. But overall, that is it. That is just my quick and dirty inspection to make sure everything is how it's supposed to be when I'm buying or trading a firearm from a private party. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate you watching. If you have time, feel free to check out any of my other videos. Also, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, that really helps me out a lot. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you.